It might be a little bit long, but there's pictures, so visual aid, it'll help you. It'll help you through it. So, this is called The Ocean Beyond, a Love Story, and it's written and illustrated by me. Cover. Let's see if I can get this to do all this at once. Oh yes, this is great. It says it's dedicated to Emma Elizabeth Ann and Jedediah Elliott Carlson, and it's on their special wedding day. I love you both so very much. And the next, oh, this is going to be difficult. I'll go like this. There we go. Oh, thank you. This is my fiance, Sam. Always there in the nick of time to help me. Oh, this is pretty. Thank you. So it begins. There once were two narwhals. One narwhal was a girl named Winnie. She lived in a pod of narwhals in the Arctic Ocean on the eastern side of Greenland. The other narwhal was a boy named Harold. Harold also lived in a pod, but he lived in the Arctic Ocean on the western side of Greenland. Winnie was a beautiful, smart, and confident narwhal with perfect-sized fins. She was compassionate and loved by all in her pod. I know, look at how perfect those fins are. So nice. Emma, you have perfect-sized fins. Harold was a clever and strong narwhal with a nice, long tusk. He was also very kind and respected by all in his pod. If you're a male narwhal and you have a long tusk, then you're like the head honcho. So, that's what you are, Jed. Yes, I know, you're all giggling nervous. There could be many different ways you can take that, but this is a children's story about narwhals, okay? Now, Winnie and Harold were of the age to look for a mate. But though they dearly loved the narwhals in each of their pods, Winnie and Harold knew their mate was not there. So, Winnie and Harold began a search for their mates. Winnie said goodbye to her pod and set out around Greenland, northbound. And Harold also said goodbye to his pod and set out around Greenland, southbound. Each narwhal began their journey to explore the ocean beyond. They're like, goodbye, see you later. They're fun little pods, aren't they cute? After a few days of searching, meeting other pods to no avail, and searching some more, Winnie and Harold's bodies ached, but their hearts remained hopeful and strong. Many other narwhals warned Winnie and Harold of all the dangers of their traveling alone: polar bears, orca whales, Inuits, and advised them to return to their homes. So this little pod is saying, searching the ocean alone for a mate is not only dangerous, but silly and futile, they warned. And this pod says to Harold, don't be foolish, return home and choose a mate from your own pod, they chastise. I know, good vocabulary, right? But Winnie and Harold refused to listen because in their hearts they could feel the warmth of hope telling them to not give up. Winnie's saying, I know he's out there somewhere. And if you flip it over, Harold's saying the same thing. He says, I know she's out there somewhere, Harold exclaimed. Some of what the other narwhals had cautioned was indeed true, however. Traveling the ocean alone without the strength of a whole pod to protect you was very perilous indeed. See, the polar bears like to eat narwhals, so do orca whales, and Inuits like to hunt them, and then they pretty much use every little bit of the narwhal, so watch out for those. One evening, Winnie was swimming slowly along after a long day's search. She wasn't paying close attention to her surroundings. Suddenly, an orca whale dove into the water from a floating ice chunk above her. If it weren't, oh, and look at, he looked hungry and ready to bite Winnie. Narwhals make tasty meals for orca whales. If it weren't for Winnie's amazing ability to dive quickly into very deep waters, she most certainly would have been eaten. Thankfully, orcas can't dive very deep without needing to come up for air. so she escaped. Meanwhile, Harold was having troubles of his own. One evening, Harold was swimming slowly along after a long day's search. He wasn't paying attention to how closely he was swimming to the ice line. Suddenly, a spear shot through the water, just barely grazing his cheek. It was the Inuits, and they were out hunting for their favorite whale, the narwhal. If it weren't for Harold's amazing ability to quickly dive to very deep waters, he most certainly would have been caught by the Inuits. Thankfully, the Inuit spear could only shoot as deep as the string attached was long, so he escaped too. By now, Winnie and Harold were tired, scared, alone, and starting to get discouraged. It was nighttime, and they each decided to stop and rest for the night. When they looked up at the night sky, the bright and beautiful full moon caught their eyes. Without realizing it, a smile began to cross each of their faces and shine. And Winnie's thinking, every narwhal on this earth sees the same moon, she thinks. And Harold thinks, no matter where you are, you always see the same moon. Wonder what's going to happen next. At that moment, Winnie and Harold's spirits lifted and hope warmed their hearts again. They could somehow feel each other looking at the moon. He's out there, and I'm going to find her, smiled Harold. The next morning, Winnie swam with renewed energy towards the inlets of northern Canada. On her way, she spotted a gonatus squid that looked delicious and chased after it. Breakfast, Winnie commented. Harold also awoke feeling energized and began swimming towards the inlets of northern Canada. On his way, he spotted a delectable-looking gonatus squid and bolted after it. Breakfast is served, Harold happily thought. Winnie and Harold hunted their squids carefully and swiftly. The squids dodged this way and that, but Harold and Winnie kept right up with them. Suddenly, Winnie got distracted by another squid that zoomed by right in front of her. That little squid's like, woo! And the other one's like, swim away, swim away! Suddenly, Harold lost track of his squid after it darted around could that be another narwhal out in the ocean alone? And a female, too. Wow, is she beautiful, he thought. When Winnie turned to see where the other squid had come from, her eyes went wide at the sight of another narwhal, all alone in the ocean. And a male, too. Wow, is he handsome, she thought. Winnie and Harold's eyes met as they swam toward each other. Their hearts leaped for joy because they knew they had found what they were so longingly searching for. They had found their mate. Their tusks met and Winnie and Harold smiled. Hello there, Harold began. Winnie, Winnie finished. Winnie, what a lovely name, Harold replied. I'm Harold. Well, hello, Harold, Winnie said, smiling. Would you like to head back towards Greenland and hunt for some more squid since ours got away? Harold asked with a wink. I would love that, Winnie said, and gave Harold a shy smile. And so, after many trials, Winnie and Harold finally found each other through hope and determination, and they set off for home together into the ocean beyond, just as the sun was rising. The end.